Alright, what's up guys? Box here from forumsjunkies.org, and I'm going to be starting up my After Effects tutorials, which someone said that it would be cool for me to make some, so I'm going to make some. Here we go. First thing you want to do obviously is you want to open up After Effects. Yeah, there we go. So you want to open up After Effects. Let me just, I'm going to go over a little bit of, like the display, or everything that's displayed here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to start off with, I guess. Well, actually, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import a clip. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can go click File, and then you can go to Import, File, and then, you find the location. But instead, we're just going to drag it on there. I believe this is the clip I wanted. Yeah, it's going to be laggy as shit, but... Alright, so... Alright, so here's my clip. I'll get back to that later. I wish that thing would get out of my way. Alright, anyway, so up here you got your tradition. If you've ever used any sort of editing program, it's file, like a lot of the stuff's kind of similar. Compositions might be new, layer might be new. I don't know. We'll go over that later. So file, I'm not going to go over the obvious stuff like new. Obviously, you can make a new project. Folder, you're not really going to use those, to be honest. Sometimes it'll make it your own folder. Those go down here. It'll make a folder full of like shapes or something. Yeah, so just let it do that for you if it needs to. Open recent projects. If it crashes, sometimes it will save, so I actually use this occasionally when mine crashes. But yeah, which might actually happen because recording fraps and After Effects, which is a memory hogging program, yeah, it might crash. So get your all this good stuff. Anything in here I need to go over? No, you're not going to need any of this right now. Alright, so we go to Edit. Again, all this stuff is really self-explanatory. This stuff down here I'll explain once we actually get into the timeline and everything. Until then, if you want to check out preferences, there might be some stuff you want to change. Again, all that stuff is self-explanatory. Fuck me. Alright, so composition. Compositions are a really important part of After Effects. If you click New Composition, you can also click this button down here. This little, well, actually, if you hover over it, it'll say create new composition, but I don't know, it's like film or something. So we can click that, or we can click this, of course. Then you can do all this good stuff. You can rename it. I normally like to make my first composition main comp. I don't know, that's just what I do. Your width, this, most of the time you're going to lock aspect ratio, which is basically, if this is, I think, 1920, yeah, it'll be 1080, and just undo that, but fuck you, Prodigy. Alright, you're going to keep this the same, unless you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so, frame rate, it's based on your clip, so if we click on my clip right here, you'll see all the details. You'll see it's a 720, which is an HD clip, with a 1.0 square pixel aspect ratio. It's 9 seconds and 6 frames long, and it's 59.94 FPS. To be honest, I don't really know the big thing about the difference between 30 and 29.97 or 60 and 59.94, but I'm just going to follow the mainstream and do this. So let's create our new composition, and we're going to keep it the same as the clip, which is actually really important because let's say you have a 30 FPS clip and you make the frame rate 60, it'll play twice as fast. It'll be smooth, but it'll play twice as fast. So yeah, we don't want to do that. And then down here, don't mess with that. Duration, this obviously is the duration of the composition, so since we just have this one clip, I'm going to do, also it goes hours, minutes, seconds, and frames, or yeah, that's frames. So I'm going to set this to 0, and 30 seconds is good. Background color, yeah, just keep that black. You might need to change that for other things, but you won't for this. So what we have here is we have this blank composition. We have nothing in it. We have a black background, like I just said, not to change, but I guess you can. So what we can do is we can drag on our clip, and bam, it's there. So over here, down in this corner, follow my cursor, you have a couple buttons here, and you're probably going to be confused on what all this does, but you're not going to be any longer, so this button, pretty obvious, it's a little eye. If you've ever used Photoshop, I believe it has something similar to hide layers, and this is also a layer, so, same concept. Hides it. You see that? And just to prove my point, I'll show you how to do this in a second, but Let's say we have a red square right here, and we put it underneath. If we hide this one on top, the red will show. So yeah, that's basically what I mean. I don't know, we might use that later. So this, obviously, if you see this little symbol in the box, that means sound's on. Now it's off, on, off. Most of the time for Call of Duty clips and stuff, you're going to want to turn it off and just add your own sounds. Yeah, and then, let's see. Here's a good example. If I put this on top, so you see the red one is the one showing because it's the top layer, even though they're both checked as on. If you want to solo, this is what this is, the soloing thing here. You can read that right there. Hides all non-solo videos. So if we solo this one, only this one will show. If we had like 10 other layers, and if you had a layer that has effects on it, which is called an adjustment layer, I'll explain that later too. It will hide all that stuff. So if you have any effects on your adjustment layer, those will disappear. Just this raw clip. Let me move that back. This right here, I'm not gonna lie, I don't use this. Okay, well there you go. It can't be edited while you have this. I don't even know what that would be used for, but it's there. Let's see, frame blending. Let me see this. No, I take that back. Ignore me. Don't mess with that. This is frame blending. Frame blending, watch, I don't know if you'll be able to see a difference since I'm recording pretty crappy FPS right now, but let's say I enable this. And by the way, if you want to enable frame blending, you gotta click on the clip, and I normally do that, and then you also gotta click this button up here, and so it'll turn all of them with this checked on. So you probably won't be able to notice the difference. Oh, it looks like shit. Alright, whatever. You won't be able to notice it, but check it out for yourself. It'll look a lot smoother. And then motion blur, pretty obvious. It blurs, you know, it's based on the camera velocity. So let's say your guy turns really fast to the left, everything will be blurred until he's done turning. Not super blurred, but it'll look, it's a nice little addition. So I suggest, you know, using that if you're able to render that. I don't know. I don't know why you would be editing if you have a shitty computer anyway, but yeah. This, I honestly don't use this for normal layers because, like I mentioned earlier, adjustment layers. If you right-click, new adjustment layer, or if you go up here to layer, new adjustment layer, it doesn't matter. So you make the new adjustment layer, appears on top. What adjustment layers do is, let's say we add lens blur as a nice effect, or sorry, oh fine, that's fine. Alright, so let's say we add lens blur to this adjustment layer. Everything underneath it will have this effect on it. So see, we can adjust the effect on the adjustment layer and it will be affected, but if we put it underneath the clip, everything above it will not be affected, just this red layer. You probably won't notice it on the red layer. If I hide that, I'm assuming nothing would change. Oh, maybe it will. So it doesn't look blur, it looks more like a shadow, but yeah, you get the point. Let me delete that. So yeah, that's what this button does. It turns it into an adjustment layer. But I don't know why you would do that. This 3D layers, you're not going to get into that right away, but like I said, it makes it 3D. So then if we check the positions, oh shit, yeah, see, it now has a Z position, so we can move it further. Yeah, but we're not doing that. Let's see, what else is there? Ignore all this parent stuff for now. Again, that's when you get into the more advanced stuff, you know, using expressions. There's actually a little way you can script, I guess you would call it, in After Effects. You can script the same way you use effects. You can change them to, I don't feel like explaining this alright. Alright, well, I might teach that later. And here you got your timeline. Now, this is where you're going to spend most of your time. As you see, if you drag this little yellow guitar pick looking thing, it'll change where you are in the time. So if, you know, we click on, we're on 4 seconds, or we can just drag it. Doesn't matter. You can drag your clips side to side. You can move them under. No, you can't actually. Sorry if this is really laggy. Give me a minute. Let me. Another thing. This is kind of. I was gonna go here next, but it's pretty helpful. This right here is the quality of the preview up here. So if you're having trouble rendering or pre-rendering, you know, when you're trying to watch over what you've done so far, put it on half, third, or quarter. Don't keep it on full all the time. See, like I just put mine on quarter. It's still gonna lag because I have no idea why. I have a decent computer. Anyway, so yeah, and then obviously you can drag clips underneath like I did earlier. If you go to the end of the clip, you can trim it, do whatever you want. You'll figure this stuff out. This stuff's pretty easy. Actually, I need to show this. This is called a workspace. This you'll see how it has like a little dividing line. The lighter part is where we're actually working in. So we can drag these two together, and you know it's helpful for just knowing where you left off. I don't know. If you save your project, come back in, the workspace will be the same. You can also right click and you can trim this entire composition just to right in these little highlighted areas. So this is how long it'll be. That's pretty helpful if you add each clip to its own composition, which is what I do for what's it called? I do that for color correction and stuff, but you guys can do it how you want. So then I just I take the workspace down to where I need it to be, then I right click and trim. So yeah, let me put this back. Alright, let's go over here to the top right over here. Yours should look pretty similar. This is how mine looked when I first obtained After Effects, if I want to say it like that. This is called the RAM preview. Basically what it does is it's kind of does what it sounds like it would do. Hold on, let me delete this red object. Alright, so if we go to the beginning and say we take this, that's another thing. I was going to get into this, but I wanted to wait until I got up here. The workspace, it will only RAM preview what you have selected in the workspace. So if we have it way out here, it'll render all the way up to here, and then we can preview it in pretty much rendered quality, which is kind of why it's called that. So this button right here that I'm highlighting is called RAM Preview. You click it, it basically renders out, it essentially renders your video, and you'll be able to watch it back in full quality if you have this like this. You have mine on quarter, that might be a little loud, but yeah, see, it'll play back in the quality that it will be when you render, except for nothing. Yeah, except basically with no compression, so it might not even look as good after you render it if it's in full because of compression, but it'll still look pretty nice. After Effects is good compression. So yeah, that's that. Also, if you have a 60 FPS clip, I would recommend putting skip on 1, so that way it pre-renders every other frame and it looks like it's in the same it looks like it's 30 FPS still, but you can always render it out at 60 if you'd like. Over here we have the current time, from current time, sorry. Basically that does what you'd think it would do too. So if I here, let me just delete this clip. I'm going to add a new one. That way it's not rendered anymore. Oh, it is still rendered. That's awesome. Alright, well anyway, it'll render from where your cursor is. So if you don't want to render everything behind this and you are too lazy to move this workspace up, then you can just select this, click it, and it'll render everything up to your next end of your work area. There we go. I normally don't do that because I just like using the work area. Full screen, I'm assuming that puts in full screen. I've honestly never used that. Effects and presets. Obviously, this is what After Effects is known for. You know, editing. So, animation presets. You're gonna have. Oops, my bad. Shit. Oh yeah, another thing. This right here. I normally keep it on fit. It'll fit to the size of the screen that you made. So if I stretch this out a little bit more, it'll stretch out. Yeah. I keep enough room in my timeline for all my layers and stuff. But anyway, animation presets, you're not going to have this very bottom one called Wiggle. That's actually a plugin that I downloaded, or a preset that I downloaded, my bad. But yeah, you'll have the rest of this stuff. I'm not going to go over it right now. I'm just kind of showing you the layout. And yeah, so you should have all this stuff in here. All nice effects, and you'll probably use not even half of them in your entire time you use After Effects. I think that's about it for today. One more thing, I guess, is you can zoom in using this little slider here at the bottom. You can zoom in to see like frame by frame, or you can zoom all the way out to see how long your clip is, whatever. Also, you can use this up here. Yeah, you can move this in. I don't use this at all, but as you can see, like if I slide this bottom one and you look at this one up here, keep your eyes right here, it'll actually move it the way I just did. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first tutorial. It's probably not the most entertaining because it's just the very, very basics, but next time we'll probably get into some of these basic effects and keyframes, and you'll probably understand that pretty quickly if you're interested in this, because I'm assuming you have some sort of